welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Savannah, and in today's video I'm going to do a full walkthrough of the plumbing that we did in our DIY mobile dog grooming van. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all of our DIY plumbing in my dog grooming van. First, we are going to start off in the garage, and I'm going to be showing you how we actually fill the van with water, and then I'm going to be explaining the entire plumbing system for you guys. Before I get started with that, I do want to mention that we live in Canada, where in winter it gets extremely cold, like minus 40 degrees Celsius. I previously worked out of a wagon tails van. These vans, I believe, are designed in California, and we had endless problems with it freezing on us, even when we used the antifreeze system, even when we had two separate space heaters going and the propane furnace. So when we built our own van, we really wanted to remedy how often it would freeze on me, because it causes a lot of stress in the morning right before you start your day. So I do want to mention that our plumbing system is designed so that it doesn't freeze on us. Also, in this video, I am just going to be going through how our plumbing system works, but in the next video, I'm going to be going through how we winterize it, the steps that I go through every single night in winter to ensure in the morning it doesn't freeze on me, and also what we do to winterize it over a weekend if we're going away and I don't want to leave a space heater in it, etc. But for today, let's just get into how all of the plumbing works in my van. The very first thing I am going to show you guys is this hose bib in our garage. I will mention that my husband is a journeyman plumber, so he installed this and did all the plumbing for us. He knows what he's doing when it comes to plumbing. I don't have a ton of knowledge, but I got the lowdown from him so I can share it with you guys. So he installed this hose bib in our garage. It has hot and cold water, so you can make your mix of how hot or cold you want your water to be. We just have this hanging here, so any of the water that drains out of the hose goes into this little bucket. And then this is our hose. I take full responsibility for how awful this is hung up, but I'm about to pull it out in a second and show you how we fill the water in the van, so I'm gonna fix it then. The reason that we did this is where we live, it gets extremely cold in the winter. So having the option of putting warm or hot water into the van, either at the beginning of the day so the hot water heater doesn't have to work as hard, or to help unthaw things if we do have a freezing problem, is really helpful. And before we put this in, we used to fill an old van that I worked out of with just a normal garden hose and water that came out of the side of our house. I'll put in a clip of what I'm talking about. Most people probably have this for their garden hoses, etc. But in the winter, that freezes up, and then also the hose that you would put outside would freeze up too. So that would be another freezing problem we would have to put up with, along with all the pipes in the van, etc. So we added this hose bib inside that has the hot and cold water to help with some of those issues. I will also mention we do have a heated garage, so all of this stuff stays nice and thawed for us. Now, when I did work for another company, my boss, how she remedied this problem without installing this, if you don't know a plumber and you don't want to pay to get this done, or maybe you don't have a garage, she would actually run a hose, one of these very flexible hoses. I'm going to be linking this down below because these are absolutely amazing. Way better to wind out than like an actual garden hose that's so stiff. This is amazing. But she would run one of these from her kitchen sink in the winter, and that would do the job for her. She just had an extra long one. And yeah, so this is where we are going to start. Now I'm going to take you out to the van. So this is the back area of the van where we have all the equipment in plumbing: our generator, clipper vac, water heater, water tanks, shop vac, dryer, and water pump. On the left hand side here we have this inlet, and the water hose hooks up to that with a quick connect, and then the water shoots up into the freshwater tank. So I'll show you how the water hooks up here, and then I will show you what the tanks do. So with our quick connect, it goes on here super quick so I don't have to spend time cranking it. And then we also have this automatic on and off. So if my tank is almost getting full and I don't have time to run back to the water source and turn it off, I can just quickly turn it off here, this way. And that is how we hook up the hose. This is the quick connect. Super easy to take on and off. And then here is our hose that's running back to the garage. The water comes up this hose, obviously. Make sure this valve is open and it gets pushed up this pipe into our fresh water. So our fresh water is on top, and then our gray water is on the bottom. These are 55-gallon barrels. I only fill the fresh to about that line, so I'm probably only carrying around about 50 gallons a day, and I've never had to come back and stop at home for more water, so that seems to work really well for me. In general, I do about 5 small dogs a day, I would say. So that will fill up the fresh water, and then what happens is the fresh water will get pumped by our pump up there into our hot water tank, or hot water heater, sorry. Then when you open up the shower valve, the pump will pump it up this pipe and out the hose and my nozzle in the tub. This valve right here opens up the fresh water to the gray water. So if you are needing to drain out all of this fresh water, you would open this up and it would drain into the gray water. This gray water tank, the drain for it is right here. So you would open this to drain out all your gray water. When you were bathing a dog in the tub, how that water drains to this gray water is through this black pipe here, and that just gets drained through a P-trap underneath the tub, and it's just by gravity. There's no pump or anything for the water in the tub to drain into the gray. So the gray holds all this water until I decide that I need to dump it, and then I twist this little valve here. In terms of these two valves you see right here, it isn't hooked up to our hot water tank right now because we have it fully winterized for the winter, as I'm not going to be using the van this winter. But these two valves are just to isolate this hot water heater so that we could take it off and dump it and water isn't spurting out all of these. With our pump up here, I will be linking everything I can down below, but there actually is a filter and a little plastic part that goes on it right here, but we also have that removed for the winter. This is all PEX piping, and my husband did all of this himself. And if you are wondering what this orange stuff is that runs along all of the PEX piping, this is actually heat trace. We installed this so that the heat trace can be plugged in and potentially unthaw any of these pipes if they were frozen. We actually have never had to use this because we found a great system of how we can keep it from thawing ourselves. But my husband does want to point out that the heat trace might not always be a great option because you can't get it super tight against all of these pipes. So that is an option. You can use this heat trace, but so far we've actually never had to turn it on and use it. so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful if you are on your own DIY conversion journey. If you have any questions about the plumbing, please leave them down below. I am going to be getting that winterization video up for you guys right away to show you exactly how I keep the pipes from freezing and also how we can winterize it for a long period of time if I'm not using the van. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below as I upload new videos every single week. Thanks guys, see you next time!